Okay, so let's start today. So the last time we discussed about installing ESXi. We talk about how we can able to set up our VMware vSphere. So basically, we discussed some of the concepts, like how to install ESXi, how to configure domain, and on the top of domain, how to connect to the ESXi. So by using a browser with the help of vSphere client, or so that means like by using certain method, we have seen like how to connect to our ESXi and how we can able to manage and how we can able to do the administration on the ESXi server. Okay. So today again, let us see some more options. So ESXi, as I have told you already, like Elastic SkyX integrated, or you can say inboard. Okay. So it's a bare metal hypervisor. So this will be installed direct on dedicated device. Okay. So ESXi virtualize the physical hardware so that many operating system can be shared the single physical hardware. Okay. So you have a physical device on the top of physical, like whatever the configuration you have. So this configuration will be utilized with your virtual machine. In here, we can consolidate all the VM and you can keep everything in one device. Okay, so suppose you have 128 GB RAM here. So this 128 GB RAM you can divide among all these different units. So all these virtual machine actually they are using the physical resources. Okay, so ESXi can be installed by using a USB or by using your SD card or by using your SAN, and you can also install with the help of your CD. Okay. So previously, uh, it was like 70 MB, but now almost like we have more than 300 MB for ESXi. So previously, like we used to have, this is called traditional architecture. Traditional means we have direct device. On the top of device, we install operating system. On the top of operating system, we try to install the application. Okay. But now when you talk, when you comes to virtualization, so what the virtualization will do? Virtualization give you one layer here. Okay. So on the top of hardware, we'll be installing the hypervisor. On that hypervisor, we can able to install multiple virtual machines. So kernel will see coming session. So this is about your resources. Okay. We also discuss about the configuration, and this is how we can able to install the ESXi. Okay. So today we are going to see one more important concept for your VMware, that is vCenter server. Okay. So before we start, yesterday what we have done. So this is my machine. I open a browser, and whenever like if you want to manage any ESXi, so what we can do? So you just open a browser here. You can write HTTP. You can able to write the IP of your ESXi. Then when you press enter, the request will go to my ESXi, and here you get the the login page. So here we can use root and the password which I have given. Then now you can start doing your administration. Similarly, suppose at the same time you want to connect one more ESXi, then again you have to browse and you have to put the name. First of all, you have to mention the IP address or the name of the ESXi. Then you have to log in. Then you have to give. Now, maybe suppose if I close again one more time, if you want to connect, then again you have to write the URL or the name or IP. Then you have to give your credential. Then you have to. So like this, you can able to connect to the ESXi and you can able to do your management. Okay, but so the question comes here, like in a company, do you think like we have 2 3 ESXi and we are managing all the time? So only 2 3 ESXi is enough? or we need more? Hello? So I was asking like if you connect ESXi, so one by one, we have to connect each and every ESXi, and where you can see all your ESXi configuration, all the option related to your ESXi. Okay. So that means like how many ESXi you can connect one by one. Like, so that means like here I connected to ESXi one. Then if I want to connect one more ESXi, again, I need to open one more tab, then one more tab, one more tab. Suppose by mistake, see, I'm not saying it's not possible, you can, but suppose if I close one of the tabs, that means again, if I want to see, if you want to connect again, one more time I have to write the name, the IP, then everything. Okay. So this is not very easy for administrator to do the management. Okay. So I need something from where I just connect one time, and whenever I connect to that, I want everything should be ready. Okay. So here what the VMware has done, VMware develop one application. Okay. See, that is one application which we are going to see now. Okay. So the name of the application we actually call it vCenter server. The application. And this application you can get from VMware only. Like when you go VMware website, you have to download. So this application you have almost more than 2 GB, 2 GB something. Okay. And vCenter you have Windows based as well as Linux based. Okay. That is depend like how you want to manage your vSphere environment. It may be on Windows side as well as on the Linux. So if you are using Windows side, the size of this it will be almost like 2 GB. But if you are looking for the Linux, so for the Linux you get only appliance. Appliance means that is a ready-made. Okay, so that appliance you have to install on the top of ESXi, and with that automatically it is going to configure your vCenter, and that is based on the command line. Like if you want to manage anything with your Linux platform, that means that is your command line. Okay, but in our today's session, I'm going to show you how we can able to install vCenter on the top of our Windows server. Okay, so what is the prerequisite for vCenter? Okay, so first of all, remember when VMware introduced ESXi, that is your 4.x. Okay. So in that time, vCenter available only for Windows-based platform. We don't have Linux-based. Okay. After that, when VMware started 5.x or in C 5. We have many versions. So when VMware started introducing like 5.x or vSphere, so from here we have Windows-based as well as Linux-based. Okay, that means we have Windows. Then you also have the Linux appliance. Okay. So even in 6.7 or 6.5 or 6.x, we have Windows as well as the Linux appliance. Okay. So first of all, I'll show you how we can see that. So just go to your VMware website, VMware vCenter. So directly I'll say download. See, always it will take you to VMware website. And here you can able to see the version. So let's say 6.7. And here we have multiple versions. So essential, this is depends on the licensing. Okay. So let's talk about the basic one. So last time, like we talked about, this is our hypervisor. vSphere visor means this is your ESXi image. Okay. Now, if you go down, Uh, vCenter. Okay, yes, can see. Now we got the vCenter. So here we have vCenter appliance that is almost like 4 GB. And if you go down, we also have one more vCenter for Windows. So here you have to download this one. So almost you have more than 2 GB of space, and this is your ISO image. Okay. So what I have done, I have already downloaded this application. So when I open my server, so one of my partition like D, on D, when you see my folder, so here you can see one file is there, that is your visor, that is your VMware ESXi, and one of the file you have VMware Win all, that means this is your vCenter application. So almost you have more than 2 GB. Okay. So the reason like why I'm showing all these things, so that when you do that, you can even see, you have to remember the size of the file while installing your vCenter or when you are installing your ESXi. Based on that, you can able to understand. So now the thing is like, if you are connecting to multiple ESXi, it's not possible to connect one by one every time. Okay. So what we can do now, simply, on the network, we just try to install one vCenter. Means there is an application, and with that application, we are going to connect all the ESXi. Okay, so suppose you have hundreds of ESXi. So this ESXi will be connecting centrally to vCenter. All the ESXi we are connecting. So that means, so till now what we have done with this remote computer, we are connecting to one by one. Now what we can do with this remote computer, will connect to direct vCenter server, and that vCenter server already have connectivity to all the ESXi. Okay. Now whenever you want to do, if you want to make any virtual machine, so no need to directly connect to the ESXi. You can connect to vCenter directly. You can do that. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to do the vMotion, if you want to perform the networking, if you want to make any virtual switch, or if you want to create HA, DRS. So that means like whatever technology that we are going to see in our virtualization environment, everything we are going to see in based on vCenter. Okay. This is the main part. Okay. So in today, first we try to see like how we are going to install these applications and how we make this vCenter ready on network so that we can able to connect and we can able to perform your task. Okay. So that means whenever if you are installing any application, so the application maybe we use for monitoring, application maybe we use for troubleshooting, application it may be like for maintaining some database. Okay, it may be any application. I'm not talking the vCenter. So that means every application always there will be a prerequisite. Okay. Similarly, for vCenter also you need to have some kind of prerequisite. Okay. So the vCenter which we are going to deploy in our network, that is based on a Windows base. Okay. So the first requirement for installing, vCenter. So this application will be installing on the server operating system. Okay. So that means, let's say on the network, I have a desktop machine. On the top of the desktop, suppose I have 16 GB RAM, and here suppose I install Windows 10, Windows 8. That means it may be a latest operating system. So even though you may have a Windows operating system that is a latest, so here you cannot able to install a vCenter. So installing vCenter, we need to have server operating system. Okay. So server it may be 2008 R2, server it may be 2012, 2012 R2, or server it could be 2016. Okay. So in our case, we'll be using a latest server only. Okay. So the first condition is now installing that application needs server operating system. Okay. See, some application is specially designed to run only on the server side. Similarly, the next very important requirement, this server has to be a part of your domain. Means the network which you create. Okay, so we already created our network. We already have AD. So that machine has to be a member of your domain. So we are not installing this application on the top of a server where you already have Active Directory. Okay, so that is not recommended and it's not even possible. So we are not installing this application inside the domain controller. Suppose here you have Active Directory. So here we are not installing that application. Okay. So what actually we are doing, we are going to install one more server in your network, or in a real time you may have one more physical device. On the physical device, we are going to install 2016 server operating system, and in that server we are going to install a vCenter application. Okay. So that means this machine has to be a part of your domain. Whatever the network you have, that should be in your network. Okay. Now, apart from that, the machine where you are installing vCenter, previously like we need 4 GB, but for 6.7, 6.5, at least we require minimum 8 GB of RAM. Okay. Regarding hard disk, we don't have issue. Okay. But one thing you remember, regarding CPU, we require total 4 CPU. Okay. So this is one some kind of application where it requires some processor. And regarding hard disk, even suppose if you have 40 GB, that is also enough. Okay. Now, this machine requires static IP, means manually you need to configure one IP address, and that machine has to be a part of your domain. And if it's possible, like you need to turn off the firewall, and then you can install vCenter application as a domain administrator. Okay, so these are the things you need to remember. And if you see all these things, that means now you are ready to install the vCenter application. So let me show you one more. The first thing I already installed. See, just now like we installed a new server. Okay. So first thing is, what is this computer? Let me go property. So this is my 2016 data center, or it may be a standard. And right now you can see, so I have total 8 GB of RAM. Okay, and this is my 64-bit. And right now you can see this machine, it is in work group, that is called a standalone. So this machine, you cannot install that application. So the first condition is, even though this is 2016, it has to be a part of your domain. Okay. Whenever if you want to join any machine to your domain, compulsory you need to make first on the network. That means you need to configure IP address according to your scenario. So let me configure IP here. So ncpa.cpl, that is a shortcut command. And if you remember, like we have already one scenario. We have already given like the IP of DC, IP of ESXi1, ESXi2, ESXi3. Now the machine where I'm installing vCenter 57.65, this is our IP address. So IPv4, use the following. So this machine requires a static IP 192.168.57.65. Subnet mask. And what about DNS? 192.168.57.60 or 65. Yeah, so DNS will be 60. Why? Because the machine where you install 80, that is our DNS. So that address will become all the machine in your network should be on same DNS. Okay, close. And how we can join? To join the machine in your network, first you have you just go computer properties, change setting, change, and the name I'll give vCenter, and the name of our domain wipro.com. See, whatever domain you have, you just connect and you can give your IP and administrator and password. So welcome to Wipro domain. So till now what we have done, we have one dedicated server, and that machine we have configure IP, and that machine we join to the domain. That is a condition. Okay. Then after that you have to see configuration, like whether you have 8 GB RAM, you have 4 CPUs, or a very good hard disk. Then the normal the rest of the things are very easy. So once you join this machine to the domain, and this machine has automatically become a part of your domain, then after that, here we are going to install by our administrator, not the local admin, the admin of your network, that is the domain administrator. So here I press Alt Control Del. See, this is called local admin. Don't log in as a local admin. So our administrator is wipro/administrator password. So vCenter is one application where centrally we are connecting to all the ESXi and managing all our vSphere environment. So the application which you downloaded, okay, either you can keep this application. See, you can just connect a pen drive and double click and you can install. Okay, but right now, like I'm using my VMware environment. So the application which is available physically on my computer. See, this is the application, and this is a ISO image. Okay, so one of the feature of workstation, like whatever virtual machine you use, and if that image, if you want to use here, so when you open my computer, so once you install any virtual machine, you also get one DVD-ROM. This is actually called a virtual DVD-ROM. So the image which you downloaded, that image I can use as a virtual DVD-ROM. To do that, what we can do, you have to go to the settings of this virtual machine, and here you have an option. You can see there is an option here, SATA CD DVD. So here, just browse and try to select that image. 6.7 VMware VM all. This is the image. So what will happen here? So that image come here as a virtual DVD. If you have a pen drive and if that image available in pen drive, you can connect direct. Okay. If you're sitting physically on a machine, or the vCenter where you want to install, if you have internet and if you directly download, you have to open a partition and double click that file. That's it. So open it. So first we have introduction. So vCenter server is a Windows application that manages data center access control, performing monitoring and configuration, and install resources from individual servers to be shared among a virtual machine in the entire data center. So here we can say next. Now the next we have two main options. So let's see. So welcome to vCenter. Now you can go next. So license agreement. So you can read all the license. Very big. So when you talk about installation, we have two types of installation here. One is called vCenter, vCenter server and embedded platform services controller, or you can keep platform service in one device, and you can also keep vCenter on another device. Okay. So what is this? So vCenter require platform service controller, which contain the shared services such as like vCenter single sign-on, licensing, certificate management, and embedded platform services control deploy on the same Windows host as a vCenter server. External platform controller is deployed to separate Windows host for a smaller, a small installation. Consider vCenter server with embedded platform service. Okay, for a large installation, we can have multiple vCenter server. Okay. So the main thing here, so that means vCenter is we can call it as like a straightforward installation. Okay. So single sign-on, what is single sign-on? SSO. Yes, 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 exactly, correct. So normally what happens, like whenever you see, if you're working in a company and once you log in one time and over the network, if you try to access any resource, if you are trying to access any data, that means always no need to give your credential. That is, one time login we can say. Okay. So once you log in, everything you can access. Okay. So for that purpose, now, everything that means like when you configure vCenter, so we require single sign-on service here, licensing, everything. So that contains, you know, vCenter server and embedded platform services. So we can go with the first option. We are not keeping different thing in different server. Next. So the name of your vCenter, only my vCenter name, and we are actually a part of domain wipro.com. So when you try to click next, so here it will give you one warning. This is not error, this is warning message. So he's saying, so the specified name can be resolved to IPv6, but the same could not be found in the DNS. Okay. First of all, like we are not using IPv6 in our network. So he was giving one error regarding a fully qualified domain name for the IPv6. Okay. So the name is suitable for as a fully qualified domain name for IPv4. So you may ignore this message if you intend to use, if you are not using IPv6. So I don't want to use any IPv6 version here. So I can go next. And this is one of the important points. Here we have single sign-on domain. This is your person who is going to use that username. This is your domain name. And here we have a password. That means we are using vCenter, and with that vCenter, suppose we are connecting multiple ESXi, and this is our remote computer. From remote computer, I'm connecting to this vCenter. So here it will ask you like to who are you? Okay. So what you can do, so here you may get option here. So you get a screen where you have to use your name, you have to use your password, then some kind of authentication takes place, then you can able to connect. So here we are not talking about the domain administrator. So domain admin is different, local admin is different, and vCenter admin is one more added here. Okay. So what will happen here? So either you can go with this vsphere.local, or you can go with your domain name also. So here if you want, you can change also. Okay. So I can show you one thing here. This is our browser. And suppose if I want to connect HTTPS 61. See, right now I'm giving my ESXi IP because I don't have vCenter. So in vCenter also, what it will do, it will try to open the one kind of screen. HTTP 62. You get a screen here. So here you have to put, so Root we are using, why? Because I'm connecting to direct ESXi. But in case of vCenter, here what we need to do, it will ask you the name. What the name? The username will be always administrator. Administrator at the rate. So if you don't change, you have default is v vsphere.com, vsphere.local. That is the default. Or instead of that, you can use vsphere administrator at the rate your domain name wipro.com. So right now here you have to use that. So either you can go with the vsphere.local, or instead of that you can use even wipro.com. It depends. So see, it will not change anything here. Single sign-on password. So I'll be giving a password. So this password I'll be using so that I can connect to my vCenter all the time. Okay. And one of the options we have related to your Active Directory site. So if you already have multiple sites, you can even decide in which site you want to keep this server. So I'm using default site. One more warning message. The chosen vCenter single sign-on wipro.com matches an Active Directory domain name. Okay, that means whatever the name I have given, so it is, we are going to continue with this name. Okay, so you can say yes. Then we have vCenter service account. Okay, so by default, vCenter server like instance runs in a Windows local system account. To run in another administrator account, select, you can able to specify like who are going to use this service account. So by default, we'll be using our local service account. Next, and one of the options we also have regarding SQL database. So SQL database, if you have, or you can have one more DBA server. And see, basically we also require one kind of database server here. Database server you may have, maybe like your SQL server. It may be your DBA, or it may be any other database server you can have. So you can give a location. Okay. So if you are using for external database server, then you can browse and you can able to give it like the name and the username and password you can give it. Okay. So the machine where we are installing our vCenter application, by default, the application also have some kind of database. It is automatically created when you are installing this application. So we'll be going with the embedded database, and this is designed by the vMware itself. Next. Its own database, not SQL, its own database. Okay. Now, the last option. Now, see, whenever you are accessing anything from your network, it may be a URL or something. Okay. So that means over the network, the request will go to a destination server, and from the server, you will be getting your session. Okay. So if you're connecting, it may be like HTTP, you may write, HTTPS, you may write. Okay. Similarly, for vCenter, the code that we are going to use, 94440. Okay. So sometimes you may have a question in interview like, what is the port of vCenter server? So the port that we are going to use, which is especially using for the connecting to your vCenter, that is your 9443. Okay. So these are the ports. We are not going to change anything. Okay. So we go with the default only. HTTP is 80, HTTPS 443. So these are the automatically taken the port numbers. Don't change anything. If you are changing, that means you have to remember and you have to connect to destination based only on that particular port number. So don't change anything. Next. And the last option is asking about the application location, like where you want to keep this application. And as I told you, it requires some kind of space in your hard disk. So for platform service, it's taking almost 6 GB. And for embedded platform service, for the store data, or this is for installing, you require 8 GB plus 6 GB. So almost 12 GB it requires. So you want, you can even change the location. And one of the options we have customer experience. If you want, you can participate. You can participate in VMware customer experience. If you don't want, you can even remove the checkmark. See, always you may have some kind of option like this. You can even ignore this. Okay, and just have a look. You're ready to install. Okay, so what the name you have done, Wipro administrator, everything, it gives you a summary. If you have any issue, you can go back and you can see all the things. If you're not satisfied with your configuration, everything is okay. Now you can install. So this is how we can able to install vCenter, and installation, at least it will take how much time? 30 to 35 minutes. Because it's not a very simple application. This application includes many things. So whatever the things required, automatically it is going to install. Okay. So today we have seen only the installation of vCenter. So once the installation done, in coming session, I'm going to show you like how we can able to connect to ESXi, how we add all the ESXi, and what are the ways. Then we try to connect to the ESXi. Then we try to talk about the licensing, and even we try to make our own data center where you can add everything. Then after that, we'll be having the main section of your VMware. Okay. So till now, whatever we have done, these are all the basic stuff for VMware, and this is our network scenario. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask me.